This is really a yes or no question.
Yep.
Carolyn Ellison says you knew that FTX funds were being funneled to Alameda. Did you know that? If Alameda is borrowing the money that belongs to FTX depositors, that's a bright red line, isn't it?
There are a lot of cases where that's actually explicitly part of the programs and that are happening.
Not here. Here it says that the digital assets may not be loaned to FTX trading. They can't be loaned out.
Sam Bankman-Fried, a former CEO of FTX who was liberated in 2021, was one of the biggest and most recognizable exchangers for cryptocurrencies, and SBF was praised as a super brilliant crypto wonderkind. He was featured in various magazines such as Forbes, Fortune, and Financial Review. He was even included in ads like the Super Bowl, which was the easiest way to get into the crypto world. He was even featured in stadiums and was even promoted by the one and only Stephen Curry. Additionally, mingling with government officials and using private stages involving the political elite. We did a lot of things to try and bolster our reputation, to try and, help our brand, said Sam Bankman-Fried. However, the most horrifying thing came when it all came crashing down last November 11, 2022. The user withdrawals of the company were halted. Then the company filed for bankruptcy, and users weren't given the chance to access their funds until today. But they do have little hopes in their heart that they may recover their crypto assets again. The question still remains, where did all the money go and who is at fault? If Sam Bankman-Fried had his way, you'd think this was all a big joke. Like the story of Icarus, who flew too near despite having excellent intentions, SBF claims that his inexperience and lack of effort were to blame. And if only you had put in more effort, everything at FTX would be fine if risk management was given greater attention. What's embarrassing is that he mentioned in a podcast that his greatest talent was risk management. Isn't it ironic? Because what exactly happened is the total opposite. According in an interview with Sam, quote,
I wasn't spending any time or effort trying to manage risk on FTX, and that obviously
that's
a
stunning admission.
What?
That's a pretty stunning admission.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. What happened. Honestly, if I look back on myself, I think I got a little cocky, maybe more than a little bit. And I think part of me, felt like we'd made it.
Sam Bankman-Fried liberated Alameda, FTX's investment and trading division, from ownership, and it has since traded with all of the monies that former users of FTX had been funneling there. Stealing client money, using customer money to trade against customers, losing that customer money through the use of leverage, and then when FTX users needed to withdraw their money, they couldn't because they never actually received the money they saw in their FTX account. It took Sam Bankman-Fried more than 5 minutes to respond to this straightforward yes or no question. Pay great attention to Sam Bankman-Fried's body language and comment below with your thoughts. Watch the video all the way to the end when he is eventually compelled to respond with a yes or no. Sam, did he know that payments from FTX users were being sent to Alameda?
One of the reasons FTX went bankrupt is because FTX deposits were used to pay Alameda's creditors. Carolyn Ellison said you knew about that. Is that true?
Best I can tell, Alameda did have a big position open on FTX. That position, I think, was, very over-collateralized a year ago. There was a total market collapse and, specifically a large correlated collapse in its assets, over the last month and to some extent over the last year that, threatened that position quite a bit. And I think that's, as best I understand, a lot of what happened there.
I am no cryptocurrency expert, I'm no finance expert, but I don't think you answered my question. I was asking, did you know that FTX deposits were used to pay off Alameda creditors?
I don't know of FTX deposits being used to pay off Alameda creditors. Are you Which creditors are you referring to?
Carolyn Ellison said that you all knew that these funds were put into Alameda. They were the funds owned by your depositors.
So I can't speak for who knew what. A lot of the customers on FTX did have, borrows either, in dollars or Bitcoin or euros.
But as you know, the FTX terms of service tell the people who signed up, none of the digital assets in your account are the property of or shall be or may be loaned to FTX trading. But you're saying that happened.
My understanding is a few things happened. The first is there is a margin trading facility on FTX by which users can lend out funds, by which other users borrow funds. And so there are explicit cases where there is, margin extended, where there is borrow lending.
If Alameda is borrowing the money that belongs to FTX depositors, that's a bright red line, isn't it?
There are a lot of cases where that's actually explicitly part of the programs and that are happening.
But not here. Here it says that the digital assets may not be loaned to FTX trading. They can't be loaned out.
There existed a borrow lending facility on FTX. And I think that's probably covered, I don't remember exactly where, but somewhere else in the terms of service.
But they'd have to approve of that. They're saying they didn't approve of it here. They're saying you approved of it.
If you rewind to, the beginning of FTX, where, some customers were, I think in line with sort of existing relationships that they've had, at least in some cases, wiring money straight to Alameda Research in order to trade on FTX.
So you do know, and you did know, that FTX deposits were being funneled to Alameda.
So I was vaguely aware that that was how some wires were being sent in the first place.
Didn't that set off alarm bells in your head?
So there are a lot of people who are involved in that process. And look, I really deeply wish that I had taken a lot more responsibility for understanding what the details were of what was going on there. I knew that legal was involved. I knew that other groups at the company were involved, that there were agreements drafted up.
But you're ultimately responsible.
And ultimately, absolutely, I should have been on top of this, and I feel really, really bad and regretful that I wasn't. And a lot of people got hurt, and that's on me.
I do want to move on, but just finally on this. This is really a yes or no question. Carolyn Ellison says you knew that FTX funds were being funneled to Alameda. Did you know that?
I knew that there is an open margin position there, and that involved.
I know, but that's not what I'm
borrow.
asking. If she's in court and you're in court and she's under oath and you're under oath and you're asked, did you know that these funds were being funneled to Alameda, what is your answer?
I did not know that there is any improper use of customer funds.
However, a lot of people are still in doubt because they are wondering if there's a possibility that SBF is just hiding his funds in private crypto wallets that we do not know about. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section.